Should I incorporate or stay a sole proprietor? I can tell you the answer is incorporate immediately, but I'm going to tell you every answer. And those of you who've been a sole proprietor or just thinking about starting a company and not getting incorporated right away, I'm going to tell you every horror story in the world in our video today. So get ready. So specifically, I'm going to talk about three things. What's the differences in the ownership structure? Specifically, what's the LLC side of it that I think you should mostly start with? Number two, which one is better and how to manage them? When to do it? That's really critical. And then number three, the tax advantages, which that alone should give you your answer. So get a pen and paper and let's talk about this. What are the differences? So a sole proprietor is just you. It's you, your social security number. So the challenge with that as a business owner is you're only getting one credit score, right? So you and your sole proprietor business is one. You're not separate. No one tells you that. Everything's under your social security number. Everything's personally reported, and you have no ability to expand. So let me tell you about the horror story. One of many is a woman at the lake up here in Lake Tahoe, Nevada. 22-year sole proprietor doing hair and had one of those old-fashioned, totally wrong CPAs who said, until you make $100,000, you shouldn't get incorporated. Well, I don't know when that nonsense came about, but how much money you make versus the intention of living corporate life have nothing to do with each other. If you want to be a successful entrepreneur and you want to get going immediately, you get incorporated. Because when you get incorporated, the Secretary of State, doesn't matter which state you're in, doesn't matter which country you're in, which province you're in, it's all the same. As soon as you say, I'm formally a business, now you're recognized by the financial institutes as a business. So now you're formally an LLC or an S Corp or a C Corp, a limited partnership, a lot of operating companies in most states, except for California, New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania. Usually an LLC, and again, I can't give you advice. Here's what I'm going to do though. At the end, I'm going to give you a contact information of the guy who sets all our corporations up and can give you a real formal assessment of what to begin. But back to sole proprietor land. Here's the damage that happened. For 22 years, she was making money as a hairdresser. 22 years selling product, all out of the same sole proprietor. If she would have ever damaged someone's hair like really bad, they could have sued her. They could have taken her home. They could have taken her husband's income, her husband's 401k, all of it. So an entity provides you that line of protection that if you do something, and I can tell you when you work with a human, any humans, it is your highest liability, because I don't care what it is, from camera shooting to wealth to health to hair to makeup, face. Oh my gosh, anestheticians that are sole proprietors drive me crazy. You're touching someone's face. You're putting some application, or like a lot of them do dermabrasion and they actually, blister somebody's face. They could sue you for that. So anytime you're dealing with a human, you want to put that line of protection between your personal assets, your home, your vehicles, your family, to the thing you're going to do. So it's just straight up. It's an intention, not an amount of income. I don't know where that came about, but let's just dispel that right away. The problem for her is after 22 years, she didn't have any better credit. In fact, the financial institutes didn't even recognize her as sort of this cute little hobby she was doing. The Secretary of State didn't even know she existed. There was no secondary credit. So I could tell you story after story. It's just a non-starter. Never stay a sole proprietor, ever, even for a minute. Even direct sales companies. Let's just say you have a lotion or potion or oil or some sort of, drink or energy drink, and somebody has a reaction, you're the front line of the problem. Cannot tell you enough horror stories about just getting incorporated. You want to start doing business, you're incorporated, Secretary of State. Now let's go to the big benefit. You have corporate credit. You start getting your own credit cards. You have your own bank account. So now you have a personal and your first business. Then you need a second business and a third business. Why? To handle tax strategies. I'll talk about that in a moment. So before I move on to some of the tax strategies, let's talk about the ownership differences. So when you have an LLC, you have a manager and you have members. And the members are the ones that really run the company. And inside that structure, there's a huge amount of protection. So an LLC stands for a limited liability company. So it protects you against any litigation. So if anything happens and someone sues you, they can only take the contents and the assets of that company, or even, put up a lien against them. The other benefits are you get, again, your own corporate credit. You get your own P&L and balance sheet. which is significant. You have your own business plan. As far as an LLC, you can also pay yourself a W-2 paycheck. If you're a sole proprietor, you can't pay yourself a W-2 paycheck. That doesn't even exist. That's sort of awkward. As an LLC, you can pay yourself a paycheck. Here's why you want to do that. And no one tells you this. In fact, I've been highlighting it over the last year because I've been noticing so many people get an LLC and they put up their LLC revenues to attempt to get health insurance. So let's just say your LLC makes $100,000. You pay yourself $24,000. According to the healthcare plans, all they're concerned about is your $24,000. So for example, my companies make millions. I'm a $48,000 employee of one of my LLCs, and I have 2 dependents. So I'm a single mom with 2 dependents making $48,000. My healthcare is phenomenal. It's better than most of you that are employed and are making $500,000. I mean, the healthcare thing is not a big deal, and a lot of you just haven't been taught right how to go get healthcare. So the difference between a sole proprietor and no healthcare, well, if you're married and maybe they have healthcare, you'll get it done. But if you're out there like I was, a single mom with no job, and I had an LLC, the LLC employed me, that got me the healthcare and got me the other benefits. It's huge, and no one's telling you these things. To me, this stuff should be taught in junior high. Actually, let's stop right there. If you agree that this stuff should be taught in junior high, put it in the comments right now. Like, how many of you wish you would have learned this years and years and years ago? All right. It's really important. And any other topics you want me to talk about, put in the comments. We have somebody out here every day monitoring and make sure that we're going to handle what you need. While you're doing that, subscribe to my channel, click the notification button, be here 5 days a week. Make a commitment to you and your family to get financially literate and listen to me 5 days a week. It's only 10 to 12 minutes a day. Now, back to the tax advantages. Cannot tell you how many. And when you have one LLC, guess what? You can have a second, you can have a third, you can have a C Corp, you can have all these structures that can operate together. And inside of that, the tax advantages in America are 81,000 pages of tax code. Like, you're never going to go on a vacation again. If you were a sole proprietor, you have to go on a vacation. If you are a business, you get to go on a business trip. And when your kids work for the company, guess what? They get to come along. And then you're going to have shareholder meetings, which you can do those anywhere in the world. I've had shareholder meetings at all 6 continents with my kids. One time we had a shareholder meeting in a safari in a tree. We spent the day just talking about the business, and really it was my time to educate my kids. But it was a shareholder meeting because I'm the shareholder, and you have to do corporate minutes. Yeah, that's rough. And no one, limits you on where you can have your shareholder meeting. You can rent a private jet, do it in the sky. You can do it in Hawaii. You can do it in Costa Rica, wherever you want to do it. So there's a lot of advantages, but if you're not incorporated and you're not using the full corporate code, you're going to miss all these advantages. So the last thing I want to share with you is corporate compliance. There's a big myth also that a lot of uneducated people are telling you, that if you're a sole member LLC, you don't have to do corporate compliance. That's not true. And I'm going to tell you another strategy of staying a sole member LLC is just bad news. Your trust or another company should own part of it. You should have always 2 owners inside your LLC. Now that's a little more sophisticated, and when we talk to you privately, we can explain that more. But if any of you went through any litigation, any sort of issues, and you're a sole member, depending on your state, they can penetrate through parts of it to come to you. So have at least one of the members be your trust. And then you could be the other member, but at least you're 2. It's high protection for you and probate. And if you've missed some of my videos on trust and the necessary need for a trust, go put it in the search bar and go look for those, listen to those. That'll get you caught up on that content and why that's so critical. So make sure you do corporate compliance. You do have shareholder meetings. You do have compliance meetings. If you pay yourself, you actually going to sign a resolution that you agreed to pay yourself a certain W-2 paycheck. And then with that paycheck, you've agreed that the company can pay for your health care. I have a huge healthcare plan. When you actually do this right, you can have, acupuncture, massage, your facials, your hair, all this stuff can be part of your healthcare plan. Because guess what? You're the sole owner. You can make up the healthcare plan. And the IRS code is enormous on what they allow for healthcare. So if you're holding onto your job tight and you're scared to quit to be an entrepreneur because you don't think that, you can handle the healthcare, totally wrong information. I'm right. They're wrong. So here's what I want you to do right now. I want you to go take my financial personality quiz. It'll put you into one of 4 profiles. And one of them is that you overpay tax. So for those of you that land in that category, this video was specifically for you. And then what's going to happen is we're going to send you out an application. On the application, I want you to check the box, talk to a corporate specialist, and you're going to talk to our person. And even if you're incorporated, talk to our team about having your corporate compliance done right. Every year, you should have your corporate minutes. You should have a nice big binder. You should have your stock certificates issued, your seals put on them. All that needs to be done. And anyone who tells you that that's kind of casual have never been audited. It's critical. And so just do it year after year and stay caught up. It's not that big a deal. Just have to get started. So take the quiz, fill out the application, talk to our team, and I will talk to you tomorrow.